and what can happen with sniping an opponent's shuttle. That can play a huge role. Free's shuttle now, and he's just waiting for that first Reaver to pop, and it'll be interesting to see whether Free decides to go on the offensive here, or whether he just decides to try and play a little bit more defensively, and what Bisu does in that regard as well. Bisu looks like he's moving out with his shuttle. He's got a Reaver, I assume, as well as a Dragoon in it. Free's Reaver just now popping out as well. He hasn't loaded up in his shuttle. He's just loaded up now. Yeah, if there's any criticism that can be leveled of Bisu of late, and I will be spoiling Bisu versus Aris for you guys from the OSL from a couple of weeks ago, but I'm sure you guys have seen that already, is that Bisu's multitasking was what let him down. He wasn't able to multitask, he wasn't able to put the pressure on, and Bisu looks like he's now taking his expo just south of his main at the 7 o'clock position. Free doesn't look like he's getting ready to take any expansions thus far from looking at his mini-map, so Bisu trying to get a little bit of an economic advantage here. Free obviously focusing on his military for now, and I think that's a good idea. Although it looks like Free might be... no, that's actually Bisu coming around with his shuttle, just trying to find out if Free is trying to perhaps put an expansion down and trying to stop him from doing that. Free, however, is concentrating on his military, so Free's going to have a brief window of time here where he should have a superior ground force if he continues to pump those units out, since Bisu has invested those resources in that expansion. So Free's got a limited window of opportunity, a limited window of time here where he needs to do some damage to Bisu and needs to put the pressure on him, and if he doesn't, then Bisu's going to skip ahead in this game. Free now coming in with the shuttle towards Bisu's base. Bisu doesn't seem to have too much in his base to defend it. Free's observer is going to get in there first, and I'm not even sure if Bisu does have a Dragoon there, and Free's shuttle just standing off. He's seen the two Dragoons there. Another Reaver pops out for Bisu in his main. Free now just looking for an avenue of attack. Now coming in with the shuttle. This is going to be the critical drop here. Free drops a Reaver. Bisu's probes are still there. He's going to take a hit. 2 or 3 probes died to that first hit, and Free runs away with that Reaver. I think he could have afforded to take a second shot there. Bisu not offering any resistance. I'm quite surprised, guys, that Bisu made no effort to defend that. However, he's got that expansion down, so he's still going to be comfortable. The question is, how effective can Free be with this harass now that Bisu has got that extra expansion? He's got now 2 places where he can defend. Free can try and pull Bisu back and forth. Bisu's just now going to take that probe out behind Free's expansion. Bisu's just going to take that probe out behind his own expansion, but now Free's coming in. He's dropping a Zealot to absorb the Reaver shot. That's brilliant by Free, and now this Reaver shot again critical. Unfortunately, that Reaver Scarab is probably not going to do as much damage as Free had hoped, and yeah, he didn't kill any probes there. That was a little bit unfortunate. Bisu reacting in time on that occasion, and it feels to me right now that Bisu's pulling a little bit ahead. That Reaver shot was absolutely critical. He did get one decent Reaver shot off at Bisu's forces, but he only killed the one. He only killed 2 or 3 probes, but this is going to be the critical moment here, guys. Free moving out with his army. He hasn't taken his expansion the way Bisu has taken his, so Free knows he's got a very narrow window of opportunity to kill Bisu off here, and the critical thing is that Bisu, of course, is going to have to defend this. Bisu's got 2 shuttles, however. If Bisu leaves his base with his army, he's going to find it incredibly difficult to come back. You need to pull those shuttles back. A little bit of static coming on the screen there, unfortunately, on my screen. I hope it isn't troubling you guys as well. Bisu's leaving 1 shuttle there. He's got a skeleton army there. Free's got, I think, 3 times the number of units that Bisu does. Bisu both his shuttles away. This is horrible for Bisu. First Reaver shots are going to go for Free, and Free take 2 Zealots out straight away, and huge Reaver shots landing on those 4 Dragoons. That is ouch, and now Free has gotten those Reavers up the ramp inside Bisu's base, and I think this might be hugely difficult for Bisu to defend. Free trying to get up that ramp, trying to get his army up there. Bisu's going to obviously try and defend desperately, trying to get those Dragoons in play, but he's taken a lot of Free Reaver shots. Meanwhile, Bisu looks like he's going for the counter with his shuttles, and if Free pushed in here, he could really finish Bisu off almost, but the critical thing is if Bisu can do some damage here, Bisu needs to do some counter damage and force Free back, but Bisu with the 2 shuttles, now Free rushing up that ramp. This is going to be do or die for both these players. Both these players trying to kill each other off before their own bases come down. Bisu now dropping in Free's base. He's dropped 2 Reavers as well as Dragoons. Massive Reaver shot takes out all of Free's probes. Free's probes bite the dust. They've just been obliterated with a single Reaver shot. However, Bisu's army is being ground down in his main, but if Bisu can just keep himself alive for his Reavers to come back in those 2 shuttles long enough, then he will have a good chance. Meanwhile, Free has cleared up the Dragoons in his base, but Bisu has done massive damage to Free's economy. Bisu seems to be holding his defense here. Bisu might be taking this game right now, guys. Free is doing some more damage. He's got those Dragoons here. This is going to be... Bisu still has a chance. Either player can still win this potentially, but Bisu doesn't have anything to support his Reavers. Bisu doesn't have anything to support his Reavers, and those Dragoons are in there. They've killed all of Bisu's Dragoons, and that's the difference here. Unfortunately, even though Bisu decimated Free's economy, even though he delivered a ninja strike to Bisu, to Free's, I would say, artery, Free has managed to somehow bind a tourniquet around it, just to give himself a little bit of time that he needs. However, remember, critically, Bisu does have that expansion south of his main as well. That expansion is still alive, but looks like Free is now heading towards it, having decimated Bisu's economy in his main. He wants to make sure that Bisu cannot produce too many more units, because remember, that is the only difference right now. Bisu is able to produce some more units since he had those probes mining. All those probes are going to get taken out by Free, and it looks like Free is actually going to come out on top in this game. So Free's gambit, Free's strategy of going for the aggressive move, building up the army, and not going for the expansion is going to pay off. He timed his attack perfectly. Bisu tried to counter, tried to force Free back, but Free was having none of it. He sacrificed his entire economy at his base, knowing that his army that he had left had to get the job done. He relied on those soldiers, he put his faith in them, and the Dragoons and Reavers thus far have not disappointed, and it looks like Free is going to be able to take that expansion down, and that's going to destroy any advantage that Bisu had, and Free still with a superior army on the ground. Bisu coming in desperately trying to micro. Free doesn't have a shuttle, however, I think, and that's critical here, and Bisu's Free's Reaver takes a massive Reaver shot, but he's still going to take the Dragoons out. Another Dragoon pops. He's trying to finish that Nexus down before he loses his Reaver. That Reaver is going to die. The last Dragoon's going to die as well. Free's going to lose his entire army, but he has critically managed to take the Nexus down. Now, actually, I thought the game was over, but yeah, it is over. Free has a lot of probes compared to what Bisu has, and meanwhile, Free has built his his natural expo as well, and he's done more than enough damage there to secure the game. Bisu does have a Dragoon as well as a Reaver, but he's got no economy to replenish his forces, and if Free can just withstand this, I guess, final dying thrust from Bisu, this final dying maneuver, then he should be golden. Bisu now coming in, Reaver shot. Unfortunately, that Scarab is only going to hit 1 or 2 probes. That's not going to bother Free too much. He's got enough there to defend, and that's going to be GG in Free's favor, folks. Brilliant play by Free, impressive game, and he timed that attack to perfection. As I said, the one thing that's let Bisu down a little bit recently has been his multitasking. I'm not sure if that was at fault there. I think Free just did everything right. He went for the aggressive option on a map like Outsider, where the distances are short. It's difficult to stem your opponent back, and if Bisu was going to go for that expansion, I guess he needed to perhaps put a little bit more pressure on Free early on. He was going for the dual shuttles. Alternatively, he needed to hold his base. If he had those Reavers on top of his ramp with the 2 shuttles to micro them, I think he would have been okay. GG coming from Bisu. Yeah, I think that if Bisu had kept those Reavers back rather than going for the counter at Free's main, if he, I guess perhaps he didn't see the attack coming. That's the only thing I can assume, that he didn't really realize the extent of Free's army. He assumed Free had expanded as well, and Free just completely, I guess, outplayed him there. So well played to Free. I think Bisu had his chances in that game, but Free takes first blood, and that's huge against a player like Bisu, guys. This is Klazart. Thanks for listening.